All right, so we're going to try this again. Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Jazz, and we are back to discuss Zatima. I am going to summarize the Zatima 3B first 4 episodes as short as I can. Okay? So here we go. So basically, Zach got arrested for the murder of Jeremiah. And Fatima was mad about that, right? Of course, right? And now she told him not to do it. She told him not to go after Jeremiah. He didn't listen. And here's the thing with that. They both felt like they did what was best for the other person. Not Jeremiah. Zach felt like he did what was best to protect her and their unborn child. Fatima, by going after Jeremiah, Fatima felt like she did what was best to protect Zach by not telling him that Jeremiah flipped her over a car. That's still wild to me. That Jeremiah flipped her over a car, which resulted in injuring her, and she hit her head, right? And she felt like by not telling him that was gonna make him spaz, he was gonna go after Jeremiah and he was gonna beat him half to death and all of that, and here they are now, right? And so, Exhibit A, he ends up in jail for murder, and Deja saw the whole thing play out, and Deja, being a nosy neighbor and the petty person she is, she's like, y'all here to arrest the wrong person. And Fatima was like, man, go on in the house. I'm sick of your mess. Now, here's my thing with that. Fatima, hun, I love you, sis, but come on now. You can't be mad at Zach because he spazzed when just the day before you spazzed at Deja's house, trashed her whole house, messed up her cake. You took a bat to her car and everything. Deja had the right to call the police on you. So come on now. Seriously, y'all both do the exact same things, just in different ways. And the only difference between Zach and Fatima is Zach has a record and Fatima doesn't. Fatima is a little bit more calculated, quote unquote, with hers, but Fatima has resources in place. She also has the money and the means, and she has people in place. Like her dad is a retired judge. Madam, she also has underworld resources, if you will, because Madam know people everywhere. Also, Madam is a whole queen pin. You know what I'm saying? So Fatima got people in place that can make stuff disappear for her, to where if she go to jail, she literally can get right out and never have to see the light of day in jail if she doesn't want to. You know what I'm saying? And I'll even take it a step further for the mental health portion of it. There was talk on Twitter about Zach, being non-diagnosed bipolar. Fatima, it's possible that Fatima has that too. And I'll even take it a step further and say that Fatima I could even argue, if I wanted to dig deep and talk about this, I could argue that Fatima is on meds for hers too. We just ain't seen her take none. But that's an argument for a different day. I won't go down that rabbit hole, and I won't take y'all down that rabbit hole. But from a mental health aspect, Fatima has been to therapy. Fatima knows how to turn it off and turn it on. because she's been to therapy and because she's done some work, she thinks that she's quote unquote cured because she's been to therapy before. She said things like she feels like she doesn't have to go now because she's been before. Baby, that's not how therapy works. I've only been in therapy for a year, and even I know you're not all of a sudden cured just because you've been before. Honey, no, that's not how that works. You're not all of a sudden cured just because you've gone. Baby, no. Healing is an ongoing thing, poo. And you anyway. And also, Fatima got a cousin that's schizophrenic and bipolar. She got a cousin she got a nephew who killed his woman in cold blood by driving into a 18-wheeler, and he meant to do it all because she was cheating. She also got an uncle who faked having Alzheimer's. What was it? Alzheimer's, dementia, whichever one. But he basically faked being sick just to keep from going to jail. Fatima, baby, you do not have the right to turn your nose up at Zach, sweetheart. So, pot meat kettle, okay? Anyway, my point is, I understand you wanting to stand on business, sis, but come on now. You're talking about you want to keep him in jail to teach him a lesson. You can't do that. But then as soon as you find out that Jeremiah is not dead, you up the ante, and you not only don't tell Zach that Jeremiah is not dead, you still keep that in your back pocket and still not tell him, and still well, I just want him to suffer a little bit. Sis, Zach committed a crime. He committed a crime. It's on video, and he also got arrested. He learned the lesson. He learned the lesson by getting arrested. So if you're doing all of that, but then you're still gonna take him back because Jeremiah did not die. So, and if you listen, Connie was like, okay, so he not dead, so that means you're not done, right? And Fatima was like, yeah. Basically, the gist of it is, I forgive him, I just gotta be dramatic first. Fatima, take me out the group chat, please, because all of y'all are getting on my nerves. So, I understand that Fatima, I get it. Fatima is the one who y'all don't like the decisions that I make, yet I'm the one that y'all call all the time. So, I told y'all not to do this. I told y'all how Zach was going to react. So, since I told y'all how Zach was going to react and he did exactly what I told y'all he was going to do, so leave me out of it. I'll call the lawyer when I feel like calling the lawyer. That's pretty much what this was. And I get that. I understand that. But you're now keeping him in jail to be petty. And that's what I don't like. The whole I'm teaching him a lesson thing. Y'all are not gonna like what I'm about to say, and that's fine. I've said worse. That is no different than Karen sending him to jail for credit card fraud when he didn't do it. That notion of I'm keeping him in jail to teach him a lesson. It's not the fact of, and let me tell y'all what I mean by that. It is not the fact of him committing the crime that she's making him stay in jail. I would have been all right if she left it at that. If she left it at, oh, well, he did it. It is what it is. No, she took it a step further and said, he needs to learn a lesson. And I want him to suffer a little bit. Knowing that Jeremiah was alive. And she still didn't tell Zach that Jeremiah was alive. And she out of her mouth said, I want Zach to suffer a little bit. That's wrong. And it's petty. And she was wrong for that. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, let's see what else happened. I loved Preston. I love Preston being on Zatima. Truly. I really, really do love Preston being on Zatima. And him riding it out with Zach from start to finish, I love that. Nate and Tony and everybody not pretty much caring when they all thought that Jeremiah was dead, but then finding out that Jeremiah is alive, and then it's, oh, we gotta get him out. And then Nate turning into, oh, we gotta get him out. We gotta get him out. What was this in it? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. You quiet as a mouse when you thought Jeremiah was dead. But now that Jeremiah is alive, we can't just let him sit there. We can't just let him sit there. You see, Preston wrote it out with Zach from start to finish. Whether Jeremiah was dead or alive, Preston was riding it out with Zach. Hey, bro, whatever you need, I got you. You just let me know what you need. He was taking phone calls for Zach. He was going to go see about Zach. He was trying to see whatever Fatima needed. He was trying to see whoever needed anything. He was trying to check on Zach, see if Zach was okay. That is how you supposed to friend. You in it with your friend. Now, of course, he let Zach know, hey, you went too far. You shouldn't have done that, but I'm riding with you regardless. That is how you're supposed to friend. And because of that notion, I ain't gonna lie, it made me emotional. I have my reasons why it made me emotional, but it made me emotional. Anyway, Nate, your priorities are jacked up. You have a wife and children that you have not checked on since season 1, episode 1. Even if you have no intention of getting back with your wife, why haven't you checked on your children? You worried about getting Zach out. You reaching out to your connect that's a cop that works in the jail, in the county jail. You doing all this for your homeboy, but you can't even send your wife $20 to get your kids some snacks. Get yourself together. Now, dude, what are you doing? Like, and it is my hope that this situation really does cause a light bulb to go off on Nate to really be a distinguished gentleman, because you doing all this for your homeboy, but you have a wife and children. I would really love the writers to shift gears with Nate and really see him stepping up with Lori, even if they not gonna get back together. Look, Lori, I know we ain't on good terms right now. How are my kids? Do they need anything? How are you? Do you need anything? As a person that's an advocate for families, I would love to see that written in the storyline. That's all I'm gonna say about that, because I could go on and on and on about that. Just that alone. Please do not get me started on that, because I could go in on Nate just from that alone. You worried about your homeboy. Meanwhile, you done cheated on your wife, and you haven't even called. You haven't even called to face your children, sir. Call and check on your kids. Send your kids some money. Go pick your kids up and at least take them to a basketball game. Your kids probably in a size 5 shoes and you don't even know it. Your kids probably done had 6 basketball games and you don't even know it. Your kids was probably Santa Claus for Christmas we just had Christmas. That was probably Santa Claus and 3 elves in the Christmas play at school and at church. You don't even know it because you worried about Zach. Anyway, I think Tony and Connie got something going on because of how Tony be acting with Connie. I think they got something going on. But anyway, and I also think that Connie is the one that took that picture of Dr. Reed and Fatima at the house. And I think Connie sent that to the cop and told the cop to say that it came from Deja. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. But Zach is out of jail now. And I think while Fatima thinks that the lesson is he needs to control himself, I think the lesson that Zach learned is sometimes when you're on the inside, all you got is yourself. All you got is yourself, and you can't really depend on nobody. All you can depend on is yourself, because he thought to himself, okay, let me use my own resources. My woman ain't gonna help me. My friends ain't gonna help me. Let me use my own resources. And he thought, okay, call Bryce. He told Nate, hey, call Bryce and tell him to call the judge that we used. And so he did that. Now, what I didn't like about that is when Nate and Bryce came to pick him up, Zach act like he didn't want to tell Bryce thank you, and he didn't want to at least shake his hand. Dude, you called Bryce to ask Bryce for a favor to help to get you out of jail. You can at least say thank you. You can at least shake the man's hand. I understand what y'all got going on. You ain't really rocking with Bryce right now, but you called him. Tell the man thank you and shake his hand. Be a man and tell the man thank you and shake his hand. Worry about all that extra stuff later. This man just pulled a string to get you out of jail. Say thank you. Anyway, that's my tidbit on it. I have a lot more to say, but I'll probably do another video later because I have to get back to work. I love y'all, and I will see y'all back here later with my second video, with my part 2, and Sisters and Zatima later. Have a good one.